You're listening to Fire Ecology Chats, a podcast series by the Association for Fire Ecology.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bob Keane. I'm the editor-in-chief of the internationally renowned journal Fire Ecology. Fire Ecology is a very special journal, and today, for the podcast, we're actually going to talk about the journal itself. We're not going to talk about a paper. Most of you know that the journal is published by Springer Nature, but it is overseen by AFE, or the Association for Fire Ecology. And in AFE, there are a bunch of standing committees, and one of these committees is all about the journal. And today, we have the chair of that journal committee, Sharon Hood. Hi, Sharon. Introduce yourself.
Hi, Bob. I'm Sharon Hood. I'm a fire ecologist with the U.S. Forest Service Rocky Mountain Research Station at the Fire Sciences Lab in Missoula, Montana. I've been a past board member of the Association for Fire Ecology, and now I'm the chair of the Journal Committee.
So the journal committee oversees the journal and does all the heavy lifting as far as where the journal direction should be, what kind of journal it should be, and so on. Sharon, can you tell us more about the journal committee, including its members?
Yeah, so the committee has 5 members, including myself. We have Lita Kobziar, Morgan Varner, Rachel Lohman, and Sarah McCaffrey just stepped down. She was a long-serving member of the committee. And we work with the AFE board to have a vision for what we would like fire ecology to be, and how do we want to grow the journal and improvements to the journal. And then we take that information from the board and from the committee and work with Springer Nature to implement those changes to the journal.
I've been on, I'm going to guess, 10,000 committees in my lifetime, and I will easily say that this is the best committee for getting things done, for the activity that goes on, the successes we have. It is incredible how the journal has prospered in the last couple of years. The journal has gone from this little teeny kind of boutique operation that only published about 30 papers a year to now we publish well over 150. Our stats are incredible. We have a high impact factor. We have well over 500,000 downloads per year, which is incredible. And it's all due to this publications committee and the effort that AFE puts into maintaining that journal committee. It's really incredible what happens. So, Sharon, could you tell us a little more about the journal, how the committee sees the journal as far as its scope and so on?
Yeah, so as you said, AFE's mission is to support and disseminate fire science. So part of the journal's success is really that strong support from AFE, and it shows in all aspects of the journal. Fire ecology is focused on publishing topics in fire ecology, but we're also much broader than that. We can publish papers about fire management, fuel, modeling, policy. We have a brand new section just on social aspects. So we have a broad scope, but no matter what the main topic of a manuscript is, we want it to have some discussion about the ecological management or policy implications. So that's really what the tie is to fire ecology across all papers that get published in the journal.
I know one of the main emphasis of the journal committee is the fact that we want to increase or maintain our high integrity and quality of the journal itself. And this is a very important point. In fact, we have gone from a rejection rate from around 30% to now we're well above 50% rejection rate because we just do not want to publish low quality papers anymore. So it's really important that when people submit to Fire Ecology, they submit a high quality paper because it will go through some intensive reviews from some of the best fire ecologists on the planet. Our associate editor list is a who's who of fire ecology, and I am especially proud of these people that dedicate their own free time to review these papers and get these papers done. It's incredible. We have around 80 people that are doing this from all over the world and of all genders and of all races and so on. So I'm really, really proud of our associate editors. Why should people publish in fire ecology?
I think there's several reasons. One is our strong commitment to publishing integrity of the journal and making sure that each manuscript is carefully peer reviewed. And then we also have Spanish translation abstracts for every paper that's published to try to reach our Spanish speaking colleagues. Like you said, we have a diverse associate editor pool to make sure that manuscripts do get good reviews. And AFE has extra extra support for the journal by doing podcasts like the one we're doing today, where authors can highlight the main findings of their articles and other ways that we promote the journal. Another benefit of publishing with Fire Ecology is because it's published through Springer Nature, we have the strong backing of international publishing house that we partner with that has a committee on publication ethics to try to really avoid and limit some of these bad publishing practices that can occur in other journals.
Yeah, very incredibly important that we keep that integrity out because it is the one banner accomplishment we have in the journal itself. There are some major issues facing the journal these days. The first one, of course, is the whole fact that many people are using AI to generate papers. And what happens now is that there are many papers that are written with artificial intelligence that make it into our queue, and we have a difficult time determining if these papers are actually real research papers or not. And so Springer and I go through a long series of checklists to make sure that these papers were actually submitted by real people looking to publish their work. One of the other issues we have with the journal is that many of our colleagues are not English speaking, or English is not their first language. So a lot of the papers that come in are not well written in terms of English, because English is the language in which we publish Fire Ecology. So Springer has come up with a number of solutions in which to make sure that these papers are actually reviewed by people that could help with the editorial process and make their paper better and much more readable and more scientific. And the third thing is that we are losing reviewers over the long run because of the proliferation of new science journals in the field. I think the last I heard was over the last 3 years, we've had over 300 new journals hit the market. And of course, whenever a new journal comes in, they need reviewers. And so we are having a very difficult time finding reviewers. So those of you who submit your papers to Fire Ecology really must be patient. We're having a very hard time to find reviewers. And speaking of reviewers and where we want to be, Sharon, what do you see the goals of the journal over the next 5 to 10 years?
We really want to become the go-to journal for fire ecology, where people have a manuscript and it's about generally fire science and fire ecology. We want them to think of fire ecology and that be the only journal that they think of to submit their manuscript because of a high impact factor and its standing in the field. And so AFE has a strategic plan to build fire ecology's reputation and to grow the journal in the future.
The journal really started in 2000, and I think we've only had 5 editors. And one editor that I think should deserve mention is Lori Burke. Lori was with the journal almost from the inception, and she used to be our copy editor or our primary editor to look at editorial issues and not scientific or technical issues. And we really want to give her a nod. Other than that, Sharon, do you have anything else to say about the journal?
One thing I just mentioned is that we are an open access journal. People can retain their copyright to their papers and people can access their journals without subscriptions. And that another big point with AFE is we really strive hard to not make the publishing cost a limiting factor for authors, so that there's fee waivers if authors need that. And there's also discounts for AFE members too. So there's lots of ways we're trying to remove roadblocks to publishing good fire ecology manuscripts, and we hope you consider fire ecology in the future.
That is well said. You know, our publishing costs are right in the middle. They're average across the thing. And by actually paying this freight, you are allowing people across the globe to download your paper. And that is incredibly important because I'm going to guess 90% of our readers can't afford to publish in Fire Ecology itself or can't afford to buy a paper that they see that they like. So the fact that we are an open source with our Spanish abstracts is a very important point. With that, I'd like to say goodbye. Thank you, Sharon, for coming on and talking with us on Fire Ecology Chats.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And please, people, please tune in to the next Fire Ecology Chat.
Thank you for listening to Fire Ecology Chats, a podcast series by the Association for Fire Ecology. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to our show and leave us a review. To learn more about fire ecology and support our future work by becoming a member, visit fireecology.org. fireecology.org.